challenge. But due to limitations of technology, not a lot of meaningful buildings were rising. But as time progressed, so did technology evolve. And with that comes with interesting problems, lead to interesting solutions. And that is exactly what you're seeing with this giant martini glass or champagne glass looking building known as 150 North Riverside, completed in 2017. Now the reason why it looks like a martini glass is because you'll notice at the bottom there's not a lot of action happening. That's because it has to have 30 feet of public access to the river, it's built on top of the rail yard, and it's still an active L train going around it. Have your phones ready, you might see a train passing up now. So what the architects did here was build these huge steel constructions on the caissons that are about 10 feet wide from the bedrock all the way to the top. Now because of this unique design, the wind can easily tilt it over. Has anyone ever played the game Jenga? You know when you take the bottom blocks out to make the tower wobbly? That is exactly what's happening here. So in order to prevent this building from tilting over from so much wind, what they did here was install 10 water tanks across the rooftop. And each tank is filled with 160,000 gallons of water. So when the wind is pushing, and trust me, it pushes, water counteracts it, creating a harmonious balance. Interesting problems lead to interesting solutions. Now on your left, you're going to see this beautiful green curvaceous building. That's going to be the Nuving building, built in 1983. Now this is the very first building to harmonize with the Chicago River. It has its curving and bending with it, but also giving the same green that you see in the water. Now, who here has seen the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off? I didn't see a lot of hands, so some of you got some homework tonight. Get it on Amazon or something. But that building right there, that's where the dad worked. You know, when you made the phone call to make chicken soup to feel better. I tell you, I do a lot of pop culture references. Now, to build around and above the train tracks without interrupting the train schedule, to understand how difficult this is, imagine moving into a really nice apartment in downtown wherever you're at, and you're paying a lot of rent, and you have to constantly tippy-toe from the kitchen to the living room because the landlord permanently drilled the Christmas train tracks on the floor. And if you step on it, you're going to have to pay a major fee. So imagine what kind of fee these architects would have had to deal with. So again, not a lot of meaningful buildings are rising. Now we're going to talk about the evolution of architecture. But before we get there, from your chairs, try to find your reflection off the martini glass building, take a photo, post it, and hashtag as a shoreline sightseeing. It's very similar when you're standing in front of the beam at Millennium Park. Now, up ahead, we're going to see the very first building passing the next bridge, not this one, but the next bridge, towards your right. We're going to see the very first building to take on that air rights challenge, by building around and above the train tracks and not interrupting the train schedule. But they also did something radical. They introduced a river plaza. Now, mind you, in the 1920s, this was really weird, because who wants to drink their coffee or cocktail in front of the sewer? But because of their leap of faith, they were able to change the future of Chicago. You see, back then, this river, it was really gross. It was brown, murky, and it looked like a sewer, and it had that super smell. So any buildings built on the Chicago River, they just turned their backs on it. Now, this building up ahead that we're going to talk about was the first to build a river plaza. Now, this was really weird, but we're thankful, because in 1997, we mandated a new city ordinance that any buildings built on the Chicago River must give 30 feet of public access. And in doing so, it allows us to beautify the river even more. Now that building we have to give thanks for all their leap of faith and bravery is right here on your right, 2 North Riverside Plaza, the former Daily News Center, built in 1929. You'll notice how this beautiful Art Deco building looks like an Egyptian